Yeah, it was chilly last night. So it was another really chilly night despite getting to a little lower elevation. Ground was frozen. I just outran some snow before I got to this. So ever since the events of the Condor Trail where we had some little missteps as far as meeting up in the backcountry, Jen's been really kind of sensitive to that sort of thing. So even though it's the PCT, even though I know this section, even though I could just say, okay, meet between here and here, don't go past here, go back to here, I decided to just let her hike to me. That way I get to sit here and drink warm coffee. It works for both of us. And it figures. It's been cold and cloudy for days. Jen comes and joins me, and it's warming up and sunny. And Taters found me, kind of. I caught her trying to walk right past me, ignoring the man in neon green.
Good morning.
Somebody was busy working and making sure we had health insurance and money to escape death. Instead of doing the important things like making free YouTube videos. Oh, Taters on the trail again. Woo! She says she's not this happy all the time when I'm not around. I think she's asleep all the time when I'm not around, because when I'm around, I want to do things. It doesn't matter if it's 5 o'clock in the morning or like 11 o'clock at night. I'm usually like, I do things until I just go, pfft. She's more like, I'm tired. That's our dynamic.
Yeah, there was some catching up on sleep to do after dropping you off at the border at 1 a.m, sleeping for 2 hours, and driving back to school.
105. Yeah, it's fine. You had limited sips, so I got the notification. Jen's favorite thing in the world right now is I got a free trial of Panera's like unlimited coffee thing. Sounds like it'd be great for me, right? Except my butt gets stuck in the campground all the time, so I can't use it. But every morning when she's on the way to school, Miss, I only drink coffee sometimes, is hitting that like you would not believe it. Frat boy on Viagra levels of hitting it. She stopped saying don't put that on YouTube because she feels like whenever she does that I do, but that's what she's thinking. You can visibly see her stop herself. Breathe, Blondie. You know, if somebody set up at Walker Pass, that would actually be a huge help, especially if they had, reliable water access other than that ditch. Having come off of the CDT, we were just commenting on how nice it was to have the signs. You don't need them, but we're not having to pull out our guides every 2 minutes to make sure we're not walking along some dirt road. Also, I feel like if it was the CDT, there'd be the road, there'd be the trail you were on, and then the CDT would actually be a deer trail going off in some other direction. Because that seems to happen a lot. Jen has officially been off trail too long because she totally forgot how to filter water. But good news, she did remember the song Love You in Different Ways by John LaJoy enough to disapprove. You see that's the disapproval right there. She actually sputtered quite dramatically, but I'm never filming when I'm saying stupid things. Actually, I think what it is I'm always saying stupid things and I'm rarely filming, so I don't capture most of them. See the disapproval. So this is one of the many things that Taters and I disagree about. I think this is so much better than those bloody shelters on the AT. No offense to anybody who loves shelters, but I don't want to be stacked like a hot dog. We have all these little sites. You can always find some place to camp. This does not remove any of my enjoyment from the trail. Versus Miss Sourface McDisapproval? But sorry, I haven't had enough coffee this morning. Doesn't like it.
I'm out in the trail to enjoy nature, not human development.
Okay, guys.
Not hostels, what do you call them? Shelters, they're at least like tucked away where you can't see them from the trail. So you can feel like you're out in nature while you're on the trail.
I can tell she is a part of it. Okay, are you ready to enjoy nature? Oh, look at this. Oh, yes, we are influencing her enjoyment of this burn area in the desert. You see over here? Oh, yeah, that just causes my soul to sing. And now we have this. Oh, God, how are you stopping yourself from vomiting? One of us kind of like blows things out of proportion. It's her.
People who make campsites right next to the trail, scumbag.
Oh. Don't make me name a video Taters versus the Second Amendment again. Remember how I'm mad the internet got at you? Actually, that one she got a pass on. I'm the one that gets yelled at saying that twitchy guy in the corner with the machine gun is making me uncomfortable and I'm moving on. She got yelled at the one time she didn't like somebody having a campfire in a fire pit. And oh boy, you almost lost your spot as the most popular person on the channel. Dennis would have been number 1. I still would have been number 3 because they're way more popular than me. So I am actually a real big believer in LNT, and it kind of drove me nuts when I went out to Florida, where instead of not camping on the vegetation like the Sierra, where it's so fragile you don't want to camp on the vegetation, Florida, it was like, please, please camp on our vegetation. If you can kill this weed grass, you're doing a nice thing. Stuff like that, where it is a developed campsite that's obviously been there for a while, you know, there's no harm. I don't like the ones where there's like a grassy meadow up in the Cascades or the Sierra, and you have people that set up right on those. Because in those higher, more sensitive alpine environments, it really does cause an impact. This kind of hard packed dirt, rock, and post-burn scrub, I don't think you're causing a huge impact here. Also, to me, like a spot like that, that's just a little one-off, and most of the time they're off in the bushes. So you just have to, like, you see there's one like right down there. That doesn't bother me as much as the shelters are such a huge impact. I mean, you've got the building, and sometimes they're made up all cool and everything. And then you have the camping area around that. And I mean, when we got up to, what was it? Bullshit-a-chusis, that's right. They wanted you to camp at the shelters. We go to the shelter's completely full. Designated camping area, also completely full. The area where they marked off, we're trying to revegetate this area, also completely full. Versus out here, you have little dirt patches in places. You're not on vegetation or anything. There's another right there. Way better. So this is the example of a campsite that would bug the crap out of me if you were on this. I mean, you are going to be underwater, but also you would be on vegetation and killing vegetation. So I've been suspecting, but we just confirmed. I actually crossed by here when I was on the San Diego Trans-County Trail last year. I went around the left side of the lake and I stealth camped in those trees. And then you go through a burn area and then a neighborhood, and it was a whole thing. So I actually ran into some PCTers here last year. It was the Cistern that had the squirrel in it. So everybody, at one point, I think they removed the dead squirrel at some point. But people were joking on Gut Hook comments about getting squirrel-based superpowers after having drank the water unfiltered. Moral of the story, just because it comes out of a cistern doesn't mean you're not, which may have a faucet, doesn't mean you don't have to filter it. I found all sorts of dead things in those. So yeah, the famous squirrel superpower cistern not only does not have a dead squirrel in it, but does not have any water whatsoever, even here in mid-February. They're gonna have fun this year on the trail. So I get all excited every time I see a new trail sign, but I seem to remember looking at this when I was on the San Diego Trans-County Trail, and it wasn't that cool. Doesn't mean I wouldn't do it, but not that cool. Road walk. This isn't even the first road walk. I thought this trail was complete. I think the water cistern's at that saddle over there.
So what's this one called?
I don't know, Rodriguez Canyon or something like that? It was dry when I came through. It was a water carry from, I'm not even sure if Squirrel Water was open, all the way into Julian, because that kicked the crap out of me. And then I got Gerardia right after. So I'm starting to think Taters really hasn't been on trail for a while. She just took her clean water jug and started to fill it off the cistern. That, or she thinks I haven't had, you know, Gerardia and Julian for what, 2-3 years now, and I needed it again. So it is currently 4:30 and we are chilled because we've been drinking cold water. It is kind of cool that this Cistern was running since it wasn't in 2020. So we're about 8.7 miles before Scissor Crossing, and neither of us want to sleep at Scissor Crossing because we're not crazy people that want to camp right under a road. And Blondie might have Gerardia. So you put dirty water in the clean water bottle.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take. Yeah, you gotta drink like a gallon to get Gerardia, huh?
Fortunately, all of those diseases, I think you have to consume a pretty large quantity of particles.
I'm pretty sure you're verifiably scientifically wrong on that. I do know people that claim that if you drink a lot of alcohol, though, that it might help. So we find a ye old bottle of like Papa vodka out here. You're just gonna chug that. This is a year of Blondie complications, so I'm hoping that, you know, she's shitting her brains out, not me.
That's not nice.
I already shit my brains out. Here in 2020 on the CDT, share the love. and the poop fountains.
PCT.
I know. I shit myself on the CDT and the PCT.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It was like a running commentary on the ECT. I kept getting further, and people are like, I am 100% sure that Matt's going to shit himself in Canada now. That's what makes our fans the best. All those supportive comments.
The couch was so heavy, but it was so,
Yeah.
Well, that was a really relaxing day. We did about 17 miles, and it just feels great to be back on the PCT. Yeah, only saw a couple people all day. Some minor foot pains, but no big deal there. And we have a really quiet, nice camp just out in the middle of the desert.
I disagree with most of that.
Going to make some goat cheese pasta with asparagus, yum yum, with some wine.
Ooh, yeah.
And cozy up for the night because it's getting cold here quickly.
Fancy cooking. See, we don't always eat Northsides and beans. We just usually eat Northsides and beans. We actually used to bring a lot more involved stuff on these. We used to do like pizzas and other things on backpacks, but through hiking changes your priorities.
Home sweet home for the night.